Let's head across to Neeraj to find out how exactly the closing is panning out. And Neeraj, a closing above 10,500 is not a good sign.
Yeah, below 10,500, 10,452 for the Nifty. The Nifty Bank 2 ending about 1% lower. This will go down as a soft day of trade, despite the global markets looking okay. And the broader markets would have corrected even more viciously. Remember, they started off well, but about 1% lower for each of these three indices. So up about 0.6% to down about 1%. It's not been a happy hunting ground for the small caps either. I mean, a few names, Kotak Bank, for example, the one loan mover. Actually, Infosys, I'll add to that. But aside of that, it's just a sea of red. And again, banks, SBI, yes, ICICI, IndusInd Bank amongst the top losers. Bharti features out there. Autos, the likes of Eicher, Maruti, etc., have all come off. You see Maruti and Tata Motors DVR. Tamo too should be somewhere out here. Hero MotoCorp down about 1.5% too. So rate sensitives have taken it on the chin. And some of the heavyweights, while they're not contributing in a big way, but ITC, HDFC Bank also ending the day in the red. You know, some things are missing in the large cap space when all of these heavyweights are trading with a fair bit of red. But the broader markets too saw some steep cuts as well.
That's right, Neeraj. In fact, the cuts today were seen across the board, be it for benchmarks or the broader market indices. But we all know the fall that one has seen in the last 3 to 4 sessions has been because of the PSU banking space. I would like to pull up PNB. That's the first counter. It did fall to with cuts of 5%, but just towards the end, you saw that recovery coming in. The stocks closing with cuts of 1.7% for the day, and the recovery that you saw towards the closing was after those important flashes which came about, where LIC, which holds stake in the company, have said they will maintain their stake and they are not looking to sell their stake. Besides that, Bank of Baroda, that counter was also under pressure from the PSU banking lot, almost closing just at day's low. So that's the other one which was down. Besides that, second straight day of lower circuit for Gitanjali Gems. That was down another 20% in today's session. Sun TV was the other one which saw sharp cuts in today's trade. So 4% cut for Sun TV, closing almost at day's low. Some of the F&O counters I'm just pulling up. Motherson Sumi, Apollo Hospital. Remember, there was an upgrade from Credit Suisse for Apollo Hospital, but still the counter today came under pressure with the market. So that's also closing the day with cuts. And Apollo Tyres was the other one which saw a bit of pressure. Some strength seen for the cement pack. So ACC was up, though just about marginally. PC Jewelers in the second half of the session saw good recovery. So that counter is closing the day at least in the green. And Vakrangi, fifth straight day of upper circuit of 5% for Vakrangi there, Neeraj.
Yeah, well, and this is the picture at close. The heat map will show you a clutch of red on the screen. It was quite a bit of red really on the Nifty today. And then the turnover as well as the market breadth will come up on your screen too. I don't think the market breadth was, I mean, unless aside of the starting half an hour, 45 minutes or 1 hour, I don't think we saw too much of an active market. But there you see, for the first half an hour maybe, the green was overtaking the red, but then the crisscross happened. And then we've been at the receiving end as far as the market breadth, in fact, only widened at close, and 1:4 in favor of the declines. Not a good market breadth. The turnover should come up on your screen too. Remember, yesterday was at its peak. Today, the F&O turnover, well, probably par for the course, I would reckon. Maybe slightly lower on the NSE cash, but this could also be on account of the fact that the rest of the Asian markets were also shut. So trading was expected to be a bit light today. Had all the markets been open, maybe, just maybe, Asian trading would have led to some more uptick out here as well. So not a good day of trade, Navneet. Sadly, closing sub the 10,500 mark. Let's see what it means for the markets next week.
Yeah, I think the markets will now be watching out for the recent low that we'd seen, Neeraj, just about the mark of 10,276, which I guess was around the post-up budget. So I think that mark will be quite crucial. And so far, the bulls were defending the 10,500 mark, but if you see more of unwinding for the 10,500 put, let's see where the closing comes about, because next week is crucial. You've got the February series expiring.
Yeah, I expect volatility to jump up as well. Final thoughts from all our experts. Srikanth, to you first before we thank you. Having closed at these levels, and your stance at the start of the show was that you would initiate some shorts. So your shorts are already in the money. The question mark only is, what lower levels do you see in the immediate next 2 or 3 sessions?
Yeah, Neeraj, I think Nifty is heading for 10,350 or 10,300. The way the market has spent a lot of time close to this 10,600 levels, I am of the view that it is a bit difficult for the market to break the level of 10,275, but certainly it will come very close to those levels Bank Nifty is already close to its previous low of 25,050, 25,100. So there is a possibility that Bank Nifty may fall further. But one thing is very clear, that we are heading for very close to previous lows of 25,300 or 350.
Sarvendra, what about you? How would you be approaching the indices on Monday? Let's say if there is a mild pullback, will you short at higher levels?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think, see, for the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, I think the Bank Nifty setups on the weekly are more bearish than what it would be for the Nifty right now. Because if you look at this week's formation for the Bank Nifty, what we have done essentially is that for the whole week, we've last week's range, which was the difference between the open and the close, that candle, we have traded the entire week below that candle. Only one small high is there inside, but the whole real body, what we call in a candle, is lower to the last week. So the entire week, even though there were pullbacks and people had hope, but if you actually look at the chart, the hidden signal is that we never went back decisively into the previous week's trading range itself. It was only the high and low shadows that we kissed, but the real bodies are all, both the real bodies are different. This week's real body is below the real body of the last week, which is, to me, is a very bearish signal coming after a bearish gap down. So which means from the week that we topped out at 27,500 on the Bank Nifty, the week next was a gap down. We have left that bearish gap, and now the third week coming has traded entirely below the gap down week, which to me is a pretty bad reading. And any more weakness coming in from Dow, let's pray again, as I said, if any more weakness coming in from Dow, then I think Monday will gap down and go much faster than what people expect. We'll go down much faster on the Bank Nifty than any place else. So once the low gets broken, 25,000, I think next 500, 700 points could go out in a jiffy. So I would say I would short sell any bounce. Absolutely, yes. Both the places, Nifty and the Bank Nifty.
Okay, that's a fair point too. But just keep in mind the Dow futures for now are showing that they are trading with a bit of green. Europe too, for now, a mild bit of green. So the globe is not a sad place. Just keep that at the back of your mind. Thank you so much, Sarvendra, as well as Shrikant Chauhan, Janvan, for taking the time out and sharing with us. All the best with your short positions, both of you. And thanks for taking the time out today. Mr. Chockalingam, some final thoughts from you. I was just talking about the auto stocks a bit earlier. Substantial pullbacks into a lot of them. We don't talk about these in a regular way, but I was just looking at the kind of reactions that have happened. Maruti is about 10% off its recent highs. If I take the October highs into account, Eicher is off almost 17%. Tata Motors, one of the cheapest index stocks, is down almost 20% from its October highs. What do you do with this large cap space, which probably promises to be the one pocket where earnings growth could well continue?
Yeah, very interesting question. Among these three, surprisingly, Tata Motor always remained very cheap in terms of valuation. I still have a little fear on the business coming from China. Chinese market accounts for 1/3 of their business. So I still have a doubt on pricing pressure, margin pressure coming on Chinese business. So therefore, I would prefer Maruti. Maruti has proved its ability to withstand the volatility in the yen exchange rate, yen rupee exchange rate, and even on the domestic market, whatever developments happen in the economy or auto sales. This one company, which has been able to grow consistently for the last 2 years. So I would prefer among these three Maruti, and I believe it's a very safe bet. As all of us know, that with the expansion coming up, I think Maruti is in a better position to reward in the next 6 months to 18 months time frame.
All right, Mr. Chockalingam, we'll let you leave on that note. Thanks a lot for joining us today and taking us through your views on the markets and also different sectors.